There's a weather guy, Steve, who's really cool. So our class invited him to our school. Steve Caparizzo's got a lot to share. We asked, hey Steve, what's the weather out there?
Will I need a jacket, shades, or a shovel?
From rain to snow, clouds to sun, Caparizzo makes it simple and fun. Want to know what your weather's gonna be? Steve's forecast is easy on your TV. Steve Caparizzo.
I'll be there.
Oh yeah, Newscast.
Coming up tonight on News 10 at 11, the search for what sparked a murder-suicide involving a trooper.
And a new look for an old dilapidated landmark.
Coming up, the weather looks like a quiet day tomorrow, but a small storm for Thanksgiving.
News 10 is next. A murder-suicide takes the life of a state trooper. Home Depot says no to Saratoga, and the presidential turkey is pardoned.
It's 11 o'clock. News 10 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Brennan.
I'm Elisa Streeter. Now here are tonight's top 10 stories. A woman in agony tonight when she discovers her sister is dead. Rotterdam police say 27-year-old Melissa Neubauer killed her boyfriend and then herself. Her boyfriend, 34-year-old state trooper Eric J. Elg, was shot once in the head while he slept. Elg was an 11-year veteran. We'll have more on this story in a moment.
Some good news from GE Power Systems Chief Robert Nardelli. In his annual address to community leaders, Nardelli said it's been a good year for Power Systems. They did better than predicted in Asian markets, and so there are no layoffs anticipated in the coming year. In addition, GE hopes to give Schenectady 20 acres of its vacant property for economic development, with maybe 20 more acres to follow.
A former Rensselaer County employee testified today that County Executive Henry Zwack told him to pay Dirk Van Ort, even though the 911 educator was not working. Victor Sapola allegedly helped Van Ort get paid for work he was not doing. The former county personnel director, Susan Martin, is also on trial for her alleged involvement in the scam.
GOP Congressman Dan Burton says Attorney General Janet Reno failed to follow the law by not seeking an independent counsel to investigate Vice President Gore. Reno says there was only weak evidence that Gore lied to investigators about campaign fundraising.
Netscape's chief is praising his company's merger with America Online as the way great companies get built. AOL's boss calls Netscape a terrific brand. He says the $4.2 billion deal will help AOL reach an even wider audience.
Dozens of Equinox volunteers are spending all their time preparing to serve thousands of Thanksgiving meals. Tonight, the kitchen at the Empire State Plaza was busy, people getting the squash and the stuffing prepared and all the rest. Tomorrow, the turkeys will get roasted. Then, of course, on Thanksgiving Day, thousands of dinners are served.
An Adirondack Red Wings hockey player who was arrested on Sunday morning for speeding and DWI has been reassigned. Jeff Lazaro will be pursuing a coaching career in Louisiana. When he was stopped on the Northway, police clocked him at 134 miles per hour, and he was legally drunk.
Home Depot will not be building in Saratoga Springs. The company says they will now move to the site they first considered at the Saratoga Mall in Wilton. A number of Saratoga Springs residents objected to having Home Depot build in the city.
Ken Starr tells ABC in an exclusive interview he should have had better control of Linda Tripp. He also said there should be zero tolerance of perjury, and that's why President Clinton should be punished. Starr's interview with Diane Sawyer will air on 2020 tomorrow night.
A Thanksgiving tradition at the White House today. Every president since Harry Truman has kept one turkey off the Thanksgiving table by granting it a pardon, as President Clinton did to this 45-pounder from Minnesota. The turkey now moves to a petting zoo to be surrounded by other pardoned turkeys instead of potatoes and cranberry sauce.
Now back to our big story. A veteran state trooper and his girlfriend are found dead in their Rotterdam home. Tonight, police are trying to piece together why she pulled the trigger and then turned the gun on herself. Bianca De La Garza reports to you.
Please don't tell me it's my sister!
A sister overcome with grief after learning her sibling is dead. 27-year-old Melissa Neubauer is just one of the deceased found inside 3232 Phillip Street. Her boyfriend, 34-year-old state trooper Eric Elg, is also discovered. Police say Neubauer shot him in the back of his head and then turned the gun on herself, aiming for her body. Both were found in bed.
She was lying on her back and the covers were pulled up over his arms.
The two had been dating for 3 years. According to sources, Elg was trying to break it off. Neighbors say the couple just moved in a few months ago.
I knew he was a trooper because I'd see him leave and go to work in his uniform.
and I'd wave to him, he'd wave back.
But Elg did not show up for work Monday morning at 7 a.m. Police did go by and check the home, but it wasn't until Elg was absent again on Tuesday morning that police forced their way into the Rotterdam home.
He was just finishing up a 2-day pass, and he's a very reliable individual.
Elg has a 4-year-old daughter from a previous marriage. Sources say he's a devoted dad who spent Sunday with his little girl. The last time he was seen was 9 o'clock that evening. Elg, an 11-year veteran of the force, also spent 4 years in the Marines. He was also a captain in the Air National Guard of Troy. Melissa Neubauer was a part-time toll booth collector who worked at Exit 24. Police do not have an exact time of the death on the deceased. They do say the gun Neubauer used was a .38 caliber. It's registered to Elg's brother, Christopher. Christopher Elg is a former New York State Trooper who now lives in the state of Washington. Both Eric Elg and Melissa Neubauer are originally from Rockland County. Reporting to you, Bianca De La Garza, News 10.
Also happening tonight, talk about turning an eyesore into a moneymaker at a Colony Planning Board meeting. Developers gave their first showing of a plan to convert Tobin's First Prize Center on Exchange Street into a retail shopping center. Steve Ammerman joins us live from the newsroom to fill us in.
Jim, Tobin's is a landmark right on the Colony-Albany border. For years, it was a meatpacking plant. Now much of it is vacant. The rest houses some office and retail space. Now the new proposal would scrap all of it for a new center that uses some of the old in its new design, namely the trademark smokestacks. Tobin's First Prize Center burned early this year. Now it's the residents around it who are fired up. The proposal calls for 2 large anchor stores similar to a Walmart or Home Depot. A strip mall separates the two, and across Exchange Street, another retail space. That street would be widened at points to 5 lanes to handle the increased volume of traffic. That's what was a major concern from neighbors at this planning board meeting.
I've scraped up 3 cats in front of my house in the past month. I don't want it to be my children, and you're going to throw in 2 more roads. I think that's rotten.
This is overwhelming. This is an overwhelming amount of stuff you want to put around us.
What are you all against it?
Because we're going to have to live there the rest of
Oh, you don't have to live. I lived there 80 years, miss. 80 years I lived there.
You won't be living next to 4 buildings.
No, I don't care. Anywhere in the country you go, they got a lot of traffic.
Others were concerned about home property values and the green space around the retail center. The developer says they will continue to work with neighbors to make the changes, but say what they want to do with the space is not out of line.
Maybe it should have been zoned differently. Maybe it should have been zoned playground or something else. But the reality is, it is zoned, and that's why we came here. It says develop me.
Now, tonight's meeting was just a first showing. The developers will be back before the board before any decisions about building and demolition of the current structure are made. Now, developers are also going through a similar process with Albany because the property crosses boundaries. The Colony is the lead agency in the project. Reporting to you live from the newsroom, Steve Ammerman, News 10.
And still to come, a student gets in trouble for turning his dorm room into the Sistine Chapel.
And at 11:15, why internet stocks are going through the roof.
I'm Steve Caparizzo, tracking a big storm to the west. Let's check out the national satellite loop. That big swirl of clouds across the northern Rockies will be arriving on the east coast just in time for Thanksgiving. So tomorrow, no big weather problems. Thursday could be a different story. The complete forecast and much more, so stay with us.
Live, Jim Brennan, Elisa Streeter, Chief Meteorologist Steve Caparizzo, Sports Director Dan Murphy. News 10 at 11 will continue.
We report to you.
Coming up, Chief Meteorologist Steve Caparizzo with your exclusive Doppler weather forecast. News 10 is sponsored by Walmart.
Steve joins us now with a storm heading this way.
Well, small one, though.
A small one.
This time of year, they can all be big.
No storm at all?
Well, no, you know, Jim's right, though. Any storm this time of year, you got to be careful because we're getting close to that rain-snow situation close to Albany. I think that's going to be the case Thanksgiving morning, so we'll keep you posted. Famous last words, not a big one, right?
Right. So the traditional touch football games will be leaving footprints, will they? Some places?
Maybe mud. Mud and maybe a little bit of snow in some places. Let's check out that forecast first. Hey, I got 2 days to work on this thing, right, to really... Well,
1.5.
1.5, you're right. Partly cloudy overnight, 23 to 29 degrees, and for tomorrow it's going to be a decent day. I know a lot of you may have big travel plans, whether it be by car, bus, plane. You'll be okay on the East Coast. The storm out will be out west. 40 to 45, with light winds. Tonight, it is quiet. We have mostly clear skies, just a few clouds. Let's check the temperature down to 35 degrees. Humidity 82% with a north wind at 6 miles per hour. The barometer going up 30.16. Trace of rain here, but some places had a quick burst of rain and even some snow and sleet mixed in for a time late this morning into the afternoon. High temperature occurred at midnight when it was 56. The low temperature, the present reading, record high 69, the record low temperature 11 in 1994. And the sunrise tomorrow morning right at 7 o'clock. We have the cold, dry air moving in tonight. And right on schedule, things seem to be working out perfectly, and sometimes that's not a good sign. Everything is coming down from the northwest, and it's dry along the Atlantic seaboard. No surprises as of yet. Back here, we find the leading edge of moisture west of Cleveland, some showers and a little bit of rain across parts of Michigan, Indiana, and some snow as you head up north of the Great Lakes tonight. But notice, in the northeast, New York and New England, it is quiet, bone dry in most locations. 35 in Albany, 38 Glens Falls. Look at this, 27 as you head out to Watertown, 29 Rochester, New York City at 45, and it's 40 tonight, clear skies at Boston's Logan Airport. Here are the News 10 weather watches. Dr. Bob Connolly out in the Catskills, Stanford's temperature in Delaware County, 35, Westerlo 32, right at freezing in Ballston Lake, Greenfield Center at 26, Richard Jones and Stephentown 32 and 33 as you head up to Townsend, Vermont. This is the storm out west that we'll be watching over the next few days as it progresses eastward. Might mention we have a tropical storm way out over the Atlantic. Poses no problems. Tropical storm Nicole, top winds of 70 miles per hour. The 14th named storm, this tropical storm in hurricane season. Tomorrow, some high clouds. That's it during the afternoon. Should be in the low to mid 40s. This is the storm that is going to be bothering us, I think, for Thanksgiving. So if you're traveling tomorrow, rain in the Great Lakes, a little bit snow north of the border, beautiful weather down south, 85 in Orlando, 60s out in California with rain in the Pacific Northwest. And for Thanksgiving Day, combination, I think, as the storm moves up, of some rain and wet snow north of Albany and mostly rain to the south. But we'll be watching it like a hawk. Overnight, partly cloudy, 20s, and for tomorrow, partly sunny and chilly, 40 to 45 with a light south wind. Clouding up tomorrow night, after midnight, a bit of rain or wet snow developing, mostly snow up north in the 20s. And for Thursday, occasional rain and wet snow, all snow to the north, 36 to 42. Right now, no big problems, Albany southward. Vermont and the Berkshires, partly cloudy, 21 to 26. And tomorrow, partly sunny and chilly, 37 to 42. Here's your 5-day forecast. On Friday, big shopping day. Keep me out of the stores on Friday. Chance of some flurries and windy, and 41. The weekend looks nice. In fact, by Saturday, warming up to 46, and Sunday, 53 degrees. We'll have an update on that forecast for you later on the newscast.
All right, we'll see you then. Coming up, an old, inexpensive treatment for heart attacks gets another look by the medical community.
And in the spotlight, why selling books over the internet is making people rich.
News 10 is sponsored by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
In the spotlight tonight, internet stocks. Their value is going through the roof, but a lot of the companies aren't even earning a profit. Robert Kreulich answers the question, why?
What is going on here? The stock market right now says that Amazon.com, born just 4 years ago to let you order books through your computer, is now worth $11 billion. That's big.
That's as big as Nike.
What, Nike, the giant sneaker company?
Which is shocking because Amazon doesn't even have any earnings at this point and won't until the year 2001, I believe.
So why do so many people want to buy this stock?
People love these stocks. Anything that has .com or net in its name, it goes like hotcakes.
Particularly if it's the leader, the #1 internet bookseller, because it is widely believed on the internet that if people know who you are, and they know how to find you, and they know how to use you, once you become a habit, then you've got a great advantage over your competitors. Amazon.com has 4.5 million customers. Its closest online competitor, BarnesandNoble.com, has only 930,000. Amazon.com has added 1,200,000 new customers in the last few months. Barnes & Noble, only 210,000. Clearly, Amazon.com has momentum now. That's valuable, but to investors, there is another advantage. If Barnes & Noble, the stores, plus their new warehouse, want to sell an extra, say, pile of books, they have to find a space, then redesign that space, and hire a staff, and all this costs money. If Amazon.com wants to sell the same exact number of extra books, all it has to do is add a few extra phone lines and a handful of people. One way to explain the extraordinary success of leading internet businesses this week is this is a big vote for businesses that are light on their feet. The lighter, the better. And if they aren't making money yet, a lot of folks believe that once they begin to turn a profit, they are going to make a fortune. Robert Kreulich, ABC News, New York.
And coming up next, the live lottery drawing. Let's go to Schenectady for tonight's live Take 5 lottery drawing.
$12, $24, $21, $15, and $8. Making Tuesday, November 24th's winning Take 5 results, 12, 24, 21, 15, and 8. Thank you for joining us, and have a good night.
And we apologize for that audio problem at the beginning. Now let's take a look at the New York Daily 816, the win 4701. The Massachusetts Daily 9250, the Northern New England Pick 3 179, and the Pick 4 6519.
A mayor arrested, a mudslide, and heart attacks in the News 10 news ticker tonight. The former mayor of Williamstown, Kentucky, is accused of robbing banks in the Ohio area. 55-year-old Robert Jones is no stranger to trouble. He was removed from office last year for misusing city money. The latest charges allege Jones robbed one bank this month and another bank last June.
A massive cleanup is underway in a Colombian village after a mudslide devastated the area. Officials are afraid that hundreds of villagers are buried beneath all that mud.
A huge fire at a natural gas rig in Lost Hills, Texas is still burning. A special firefighting unit from Houston had to be brought in. So far, there's no cause known.
Internet and telephone scams are challenging auto sales and home repairs for the top spot on the list of consumer complaints. Consumer watchdog agencies say complaints about bogus telephone charges and unrequested changes in phone service have seen the largest jump.
A new study suggests taking another look at a simple and inexpensive treatment for heart attacks. The review looked at patients who were treated with a mixture of sugar, insulin, and potassium within 24 hours of heart attack symptoms. The study found those patients had an overall death rate about one-half that of participants who were not given that combination.
A Michelangelo imitator had a brush with trouble at Northwestern University. Ryan Duvay, using regular house paint, recreated Michelangelo's famous painting on the ceiling of the Vatican Sistine Chapel. The problem is he did it on the ceiling of his dorm room, and that's against university rules.
Federal authorities are looking into whether the impotence drug Viagra, which can impair vision, caused a Maryland plane crash that killed its pilot. An investigator found William Gardner Knight's prescription bottle of Viagra in the aircraft. Last month, the FAA recommended pilots avoid taking Viagra. The 56-year-old Knight was an actor who appeared in the films Wall Street and Born on the 4th of July.
And one mother in Ware, Massachusetts has a lot of babies to feed this Thanksgiving. Blondie gave birth to 17 yellow lab puppies. You may think that breaks the record, but actually one mom had 19 puppies. The little guys will be ready for new homes just in time for Christmas.
And Siena with a big game against St. Bonaventure at the Pepsi Arena tonight. Murph will be along with highlights when we come back.
Next, News 10 Sports with Dan Murphy.
And of course, we're talking about Siena.
Yeah, Down to Pepsi, their home opener.
Yeah, I hope they do this every year. This was a great doubleheader, crowd of 77,49 on hand, and you had BC coming in from the Big East and St. Bonnet. I mean, it was a great night for basketball, and this should become an annual event. Back in 1985-86, the Siena Indians opened their season with 2 victories, went on to finish with a record of 21-8. This season, Siena Saints opened their season with 2-0. Both wins, though, on the road. Tonight, Paul Hewitt's troops with a chance to move to 3-0, but the Bonnies stood in their way. St. Bonaventure, the Atlantic 10 in town. Bonnies were able to solve the Siena pressure in the first half, but the Saints with the much deeper bench. Isaiah Stewart had a nice game. This one was close throughout the first 20 minutes. In fact, check out this shot. Final seconds of the half. Jim Canamesa buries the running three-pointer. Saints carry a 49-47 lead into the locker room. Siena actually trailed in the second half, 55-51, but the pressure just wore down the Bonnies. You saw that phase-on layup off the steal. Brandon Fields getting it done. Siena wins big.
They didn't play a lot of guys, and we took that to our advantage by keeping the press. Even though they weren't turning it over like we like to have them, we definitely wore them down at the end.
Guard Scotty Knapp, who had another big game. Again, that final 86-67. Siena does not play again until a week from Wednesday night. They will host Loyola in their MAC opener. In tonight's doubleheader nightcap, Boston College former Schenectady High star Willie Dean facing Fordham. You missed his first basket there, unfortunately. BC led this game throughout, though the Rams did hang around, make it interesting for a while. But the Young Eagles from the Big East get the win, 69-56. To Hawaii we go, round 2 of the Maui Invitational. Syracuse battling Michigan. This was not an artistic success by any means. Both teams, I think, spending too much of their off time on the beach, though Jason Hart played well. He had 20 for Syracuse, up a point at the half. Wolverines stayed close. Nice backdoor slam by Brandon Smith, but the Orange can also work the alley-oop. It's on to the Maui championship game for Syracuse, thanks to the 58-46 win. One top 10 team in action tonight. Number 2, UConn, no problem with Hartford, 95-58 Husky winners. New York Giants have been high on the play of defensive tackle Keith Hamilton this season, and conversely, Hamilton has apparently been high, period. Hamilton arrested early Monday morning for speeding over the George Washington Bridge, charged with driving under the influence of marijuana and criminal possession, plus a bevy of traffic violations. New England Patriots, they may have a problem of their own if Drew Bledsoe can't go Sunday against the Bills. Bledsoe fractured the index finger on his throwing hand during that final game-winning drive against the Dolphins last night. Scott Zolak or Tom Tupa waiting in the wings in case Bledsoe can't go, thus the problem. The college front, RPI's Kershawn Gilmore's in the running for the top award in Division III football. The Bishop McGinn grad, East Greenbush native, one of 10 finalists for the Gagliotti Trophy, Division III's version of the Heisman. Gilmore, he finished second in the nation in rushing, scored 23 touchdowns. The award will be handed out a week from Wednesday. On the ice tonight, Bruins in Tampa Bay. Actually trailed 1-0 after 2, would explode for 4 goals in the third. Dmitry Kristich tying the game there. Ray Bourque on the power play now gives Boston the 2-1 lead. Short time later, Stevie Hines getting into the act. Darren Poop is out injured for Tampa Bay. Could have used him tonight. Bruins go on to the 4-1 win. One other NHL final, St. Louis shutting out Nashville 4-0. And in baseball news, the Houston Astros are out of the Randy Johnson sweepstakes. Numbers just getting a little too high, though. He was 10-1 with the Astros this year with a great ERA. They can't afford him. Texas Rangers came in with a real good bid, good if you're Randy Johnson or his accountant. But Johnson's still making up his mind.
All right, well, we'll see what he does.
Yep.
All right, Murphy.
Here's a look at what's going on tomorrow. One of the busiest driving days of the year begins tomorrow, when the New York State Police will be out in full force to ensure safe travel throughout the state.
Albany and Rensselaer County Police Departments will be announcing the details of a joint county DWI blanket patrol for the holidays. That announcement at 11 a.m. at the Green Island Municipal Center.
And the Prospect Child and Family Center will announce the official opening of the 1998 North Country Festival of Trees. That will be at 11:30 a.m. at the Highland Golf Club in Queensbury.
And here again is Steve.
All righty, Jim and Elisa, here's our forecast. When you wake up tomorrow morning, it will be a dry morning. Quite a bit of sunshine, 28 in Albany, but not as windy, so we may not feel all that bad. 25 Glens Falls, 30 in Hudson, 23 up in Speculator, 20 is out in the Catskills, Berkshires, about 25 degrees Bennington, 24 as you head up towards Rutland. Tomorrow afternoon, some high clouds will increase. Mid-40s Albany south, low 40s in Vermont and western Massachusetts, near 40 for a high temperature in Speculator. Of course, tomorrow, a big travel day, the day before Thanksgiving, and here's what we expect nationwide. A batch of rain or showers in the Great Lakes and out across the northwest coast. 70 in Atlanta, 85 in Orlando, near 80 in Dallas tomorrow. Mild out in the Rockies, 59 at Denver, 50 in Billings, and again, some rain up towards Seattle, and 53 degrees. Here's your 5-day forecast. Rain possibly mixed with some snow on Thanksgiving Day. Best chance of snow will be up to the north, and 42. Windy, cold, a few flurries on Friday, 41. The weekend, it should slowly warm up. Saturday, 46, and Sunday, nice day, 53 degrees. So, seesaw forecast for a while, no doubt about that.
A lot of people going from Maine to Mexico there on that flight.
It looked like the shuttle landing.
It's a one-way ticket, too.
They're making good time. A busy travel day, kind of a quiet sports day tomorrow on Thanksgiving Eve, but we showed you Syracuse win, moving to the championship game of the Maui Classic. They're going to take on Indiana. Indiana just beating Utah a little bit to go, so that'll be the championship game. That's not a bad game, but they were playing this game in February, but out in Maui, you never know what's going to happen. I'll go with the Orange tomorrow. Boeheim against his buddy Bobby Knight. Should be a very good college basketball game if the two teams come to play and don't spend the whole afternoon eating pineapples and hanging out on the beach.
Yeah, both teams off to good starts.
Yep.
All right, Murph. Thanks very much for joining us, everyone. Nightline will be along in a few minutes. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.